Final game of the homestand. It's an off-traveled highway for the Charleston Battery. There are 2 seasons past that both ended here in the playoffs. This, a USL regular season matchup between 1 and 3. Louisville City set to host the Charleston Battery. Hello, everybody. Alongside Lee Godfrey, Mike Watts. A lot of key players missing from this affair. Romario Williams for the Battery, for Louisville City. They're without Speedy Williams due to international duty. Kyle Smith is suspended. And they're without Mark Anthony Kay as well. But for Charleston, they still bring the straw that stirs the drink. Justin Portillo.
Yeah, their offense is really spread out. They have a lot of people that have scored a lot of goals for the Battery this season, and Justin Portillo is one of those players. 6 goals and 6 assists from that attacking mid position this season for the Battery. They'll be looking at him tonight to pick up the slack.
7 different players with multiple goals for them. On the other side, Louisville City always gets something unique from the wing when Oscar Jimenez plays.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's got a lot of speed up that left-hand side, can attack players 1v1 as well. 2 goals, 5 assists, but it's really his delivery from set pieces that Louisville will be looking for tonight, something that was lacking in that 3-0 loss last week to OCB.
So many opportunities on set pieces, and they weren't able to break through. It's their first shutout at Slugger Field in the last 2 seasons. They take on a Charleston team that they've had the number of at home. 2 great games so far between them. The lineups come up next.
The summer clearance event is now at Commonwealth Dodge Ram. Save $6,300 on a new 17 Journey, now just $15,990. $6,000 off a new 17 Grand Caravan, now $23,790. And if you're busy, we'll bring the test drive to you. Check it all out at CommonwealthDodge.com.
Hi, my name is Susan Rademacher. I'm one of our HR managers here at the Louisville Specialty Center. Parallon is one of the healthcare industry's leading providers in revenue recovery. We need a lot of people to help us do that, and that's why we need you.
Hi, I'm Rashawn, and I'm a support specialist. I've been at Parallon for 16 years, and why do I love it? It's definitely because of the people.
We value your opinion, and we push to promote from within. We work hard, and we have fun.
Bring your business vision to life with an Entrepreneurship MBA from the University of Louisville. Learn from faculty who are experienced business innovators and develop your ideas with the backing of successful and supportive alumni. An affordable investment in your career that helps you to become the entrepreneur you always knew you could be. The Entrepreneurship MBA at the University of Louisville. Take your first step today. UofLMBA.com.
There's a new TV show here in Louisville you need to check out. It's Hey Kentucky. But you know the NCAA, they're going to make some, it's going to be like an Abraham Isaac sacrifice.
Hey Kentucky, we are here in Nashville at the George Jones Museum with the possum and some people behind us, and we're going to talk about the UK game.
Here's what we do. We talk about all the news of the state. That includes Kentucky basketball, but also politics, entertainment. Whatever's going on, we give it to you. 10 o'clock every night, WBNA, Channel 21.
Ram Truck Headquarters is Commonwealth Dodge Ram. Save $8,000 on a new Ram 1500 4x4 Crew Cab, now just $31,515. A Sporty Charger or Challenger SXT, your choice, just $24,288. Commonwealth Dodge Ram, right on Preston and always right on the price.
James Bogacki, Sergeant in the U.S. Army, waving to this crowd on Salute to Heroes Night in Louisville, Kentucky. As Louisville City set to take on the Charleston Battery, thanks to all the military and the law enforcement first responders for all their service and all that they do. Meanwhile, we got a game on hand here with Lee Godfrey, Mike Watts. Let's look at the Charleston starting lineup. They do make a handful of changes here. O'Brien Woodbine not able to play. Quentin Griffith is out as well. And Romario Williams is a notable omission due to international duty.
Yeah, so the attack tonight is Cordovez and Guetta playing in that number 10 position just in behind him. And Alex Tambakis getting his 8th start of the season. He has 18 saves and 2 clean sheets on the year.
On loan from Atlanta United. On the other side, here's the starting lineup for Louisville City. It could look a little bit different at times. McCabe could play off on the left. Illich, primarily a center striker, gets his 2nd consecutive start.
Yeah, he does, and he has the 3 goals on the season, 13 games played, just his 7th start of the season tonight. And again, Oscar Jimenez, who we featured in the opening of the show, your player to watch, and Ranjit Singh once again in goal. Only 14 goals against, and 3 of those coming last week.
Fans still filing in. It's a 5 p.m. start due to the University of Louisville game that's set to begin a little bit later on tonight. Van Schaik, a new addition to this rivalry. Well, an oldie but a goodie, as it turns out. The former captain in 2015 wears 5 in white tonight, and he's back on the squad, re-signing in mid-July since these teams last met. A 4-4 draw, a 1-1 draw this year. Louisville has knocked Charleston out of the playoffs in each of the last 2 years. So tonight, the first appearance at Slugger Field for the Battery since those rotten memories from October past. Welcome to United Soccer League weekend coverage with Lee Godfrey, Mike Watts. Louisville and Charleston, 1 versus 3 in the East.
This is going to be very interesting, Mike, tonight to see how this game unfolds, because that 4-4 match, the first time they met in the season, was just an absolute barn burner. Every type of goal that could be scored was scored. And then that second game really was, you know, one was just throwing caution into the wind, and the second one was a very cautious game at 1-1, a penalty kick goal in that one, so much more of a defensive battle in that one. So tonight, you know, as they say, the rubber match is going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out through the 90 minutes.
Ball comes to a bend in midfield. The former Louisville soccer star, Del Piccolo. Now Davis sending it ahead. It's a long run. Illich won't get there. And it's Alex Timbakis who's there. Disnell Cooper has started 18 times. Timbakis has started 7 this year. He had a 371-minute streak, not allowing a goal in net until Louisville broke it earlier this year.
Well, Louisville's going to have to be very wary of dealing with the Charleston counterattack. That's how they got burned in the first 2 goals last week against OCB on either side of the pitch. Cox on the left and then on the right had 2 fantastic goals to really shock Louisville. We'll see how they react to that. Being shut out at their home pitch is just unbelievable how they played because of all the goals they were scoring at home leading up to that point.
Off of Chang's turnover. It's Jimenez who starts on the right tonight. Kyle Smith is out, serving another game in his suspension for violent conduct. Ownby toward the byline, sends it across. Headed away by Miles Robinson. Second overall pick in the Super Draft to Atlanta United. This portion of tonight's broadcast presented by Plainview Apartments, the official housing partner of Louisville City. Davis, top of the box, looks in. McCabe chips over the top, looking for Illich. It's a bit too high, but not for 6'2" Alexander Timbakis.
Much better start than last week, where OCB really had the run of play. They did have the better of possession in the opening 10 minutes of the game, and you just see a little bit more heart and determination. They came out flat last week, did Louisville, and this is much better from them.
It's kicked away before too much damage. In the end, they had 67% of the possession, fired 20 shots, and a couple great saves for the first career shutout for a young goalkeeper on the other side. It seemed like OCB simply had that night from the very beginning.
Yeah, a couple of, you know, 1 crossbar, 1 post as well, and the amount of corner kicks that Louisville had, you have to be able to finish on, you know, when you get into the upper teens in corner kicks.
Ownby galloping ahead, sends it in front, tapped away. It's good defense in the end from Taylor Mueller. Illich again the target, who's performed so well in practice. It's Louisville City corner kick in the 4th minute.
Yeah, Mueller's just been so solid at the back for Charleston this year. 25 games has started, and he just really is the key in that central defense for the Charleston Battery.
Played every single minute this year. 2,160, now 4. Ball across, tapped down in the box, away from Illich. It's a long run for Guerra and a sliding challenge by the former Richmond kicker, George Davis. Belongs to Skylar Thomas, a first-round pick to Toronto in 2015. Played at most every level of the youth team for Canada.
And that's the interesting story. We talked about all the players out on international duty tonight, and they will be actually facing off against each other just a little bit further north, as Canada is hosting Jamaica tonight at BMO Field. So that's where you get Speedy Williams and Romario Williams playing for Jamaica, and Mark-Anthony Kaye.
Ownby hits it right to Timbakis,
representing Canada in that Gold Cup quarterfinal rematch where Jamaica got the better of Canada 2-1 in that one. They're expecting over 20,000 at BMO for that tonight. So even though they're not on the pitch playing for Louisville or Charleston, they're still playing against each other tonight, just in a different way.
I'm sitting next to a Canuck, if that was unclear.
Hey, still a pretty good storyline there for sure. I think a lot of people are excited to see those two teams play off against each other again, because it was a very exciting quarterfinal Gold Cup match. Jamaica doing so well to get to the final and be in that right until the very end against the USA.
Pushed ahead by Chang, back toward Portillo, handled by Ownby. When we spoke about Gold Cup in the weeks leading up to it, Mark-Anthony Kaye had been called up for a few friendlies, and you and I both off air were talking, it would be a long shot for Kaye to be a part of that. But now, not only is he a part of it, he looks like a significant piece of their future.
Yeah, I think that the Canadian Soccer Association and their coaching staff, I think they have done their due diligence and homework in watching United Soccer League broadcasts and games, and just the quality that Mark-Anthony Kaye brings to Louisville, and that he can play with the best of them. And certainly a lot of the players, and you do look at Romario Williams as well, you know, doing so well for Jamaica and his goal-scoring ability in this league, he can still score not only world-class goals in the United Soccer League, but as well representing his country. So they'll be missed tonight by both their club teams, but they do have enough depth certainly to be able to fill in those positions. Brian Ownby came off the bench last week. McCabe did get the start. He does this time once again. So they do have that ability to switch in and out players, James O'Connor's side.
Jimenez ran into Guerra, but recovers. Romario Williams, 15 goals on the year, second only Dane Kelly and Reno, who have shot up the Western Conference standings, and a great goal against Canada in the Gold Cup in his own right to eventually reach the final, falling to the United States, knocking off Mexico in the semifinal on the way. Chipped ahead. This will get behind and bounces into Timbakis from Jimenez. It was a bit of a struggle there for Van Schaik.
And interesting to see that James O'Connor has put Jimenez on that left-hand side and put George Davis, the fourth, over on the left right now as a time being. They've switched things up, and maybe he sees something where they want to attack down that right flank with Jimenez doing the majority of the work with his speed, but George Davis is a fast guy as well, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
We did see him move to the right-hand side for the first game of Smith's suspension. Then he went back to the left, and you thought, okay, that's his primary position. Chang is down for Charleston, who, of course, are without key outside defenders of their own, Quentin Griffith and Obi Woodbine, the foul on Chang.
As we see there, George Davis coming in from behind and just getting the back right or left leg rather, and appears to be looking at just above the knee there. Probably just a real good Charlie horse. Going to take a couple of minutes to walk it off, but there also looks like he's feeling like right inside, in behind the knee there. So you hope that he'll be able to get up and continue. Charleston would hate to have to use a sub here in the 9th minute of play.
Certainly don't want to speculate, but the Cuban was the team's offensive player of the year and the team MVP last year. He's walking off a bit gingerly, hands on his knees, bent over now. And it's a good crowd again in Louisville. They're averaging about 9,000 fans a game at Slugger Field. The purple-clad fans standing arms crossed, waiting for play to continue. 0-0 in the 9th minute, a free kick for Portillo. Ranjetson comes off his line and collects it 10 yards from net. And now they try and start the counter up the other way. On the turn, back to a bend who had carried along the halfway line. And now sent up into the right-hand corner. Kept in play by Jimenez, who serves the ball across, looking for Illich. It's snapped away by the Charleston defense. It's Robinson who did the work. Still alive now, sent across, and there's nobody there on the initial ball. The second ball headed only as far as Jimenez. Back to a bend. Sliding in Higashi, who takes over possession. The Charleston half in the 10th minute of a scoreless affair.
Good work there by Louisville on the counterattack, but a couple of heavy balls, Mike, from both sides of the box, floating over everyone, and no one on the back end for Louisville to be able to get on the end of it.
Reynolds and Higashi going step for step all the way to the end line. It's out for a goal kick, and speaking with James O'Connor about Sean Reynolds, he said, I really like the pace that he brought against Romario Williams in the first meeting, but with Williams out now, they still have so many weapons with speed. Guerra, the center point, but Chang, and you go right down the line. This is a very pacey group. As the ball turned over and sent wide, it's Chang, right-hand side of the box. He fires. It's palmed away by Ranjitsingh in the 11th minute. Keep it scoreless.
Yeah, it's a fantastic save by Ranjitsingh. That almost looked like that was going to get the side netting at the top corner of that back post, but watch him come out here and come off his line just enough to get that right palm on it and push it away for a corner kick.
That's on target, no?
Absolutely.
Looked like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was coming down as well.
Portillo sent it over Ranjitsingh, headed away off the goal line by Illich.
Yeah, good job there by Illich coming back, because Skylar Thomas was right in behind there, waiting to just get any part of his body on that one. It would have been an easy either header or just a tap in with his chest, and it would be 1-0.
Thomas throwing into the box. There's a bit of contact there. It's kept now by Cordovez and slid out by Louisville City into the center circle with Ownby chasing. It's Van Schaik shaking and baking the Louisville winger. Now Thomas, who stands 6'5", he's a bit imposing in the box as well. Del Piccolo plays it across the halfway line, and now Illich met from behind by Neville Hackshaw.
Good work there defending off the ball by Hackshaw to get back into the play and win possession back for the Charleston Battery.
Possession back to Louisville City, and it's Sean Tosh continuing up the line. The center back continuing all the way to the byline. He doesn't have a lot of help. Finally turns around on Van Schaik. 3 Louisville players nearing the entry of the box at that point. Reversed all the way to midfield. It's a bit amazing when Sean Tosh is leading the charge.
Yeah, absolutely. With a lot of pace up that right-hand side. Too much, in fact. He was able to catch up to the ball, but his teammates, there was not much support coming into the box for him to be able to cross that in there.
Tosh from midfield sending it up the line for Jimenez. Del Piccolo on the ball. Crossfield pass. Paco Craig a touch. Turned over to Portillo. Cordovez. Guerra in behind. And a foul by Guerra in the center circle. Haven't heard a lot from Malik Badawi, but the referee blows his whistle for the first time. Lifted over the back line. Davis allows it to come down, but he was offside. Had a bouncing shot that was deflected in its own right by Mueller. And a quick restart. Michael Chang for Charleston. Chang galloping by a bend. He continues on unimpeded toward the edge of the area. Craig came out. Hit out of play. It's a throw to Charleston deep in the attacking half.
Boy, Chang showing his speed there. Obviously, he's feeling better once again getting back out on that pitch, and he just blew by a bend there and created a lot more space. But again, Louisville defending well and clearing that ball out, not allowing someone in white to get on the end of it.
Lifted up the right side touchline. Ownby with a touch by one, and then collides. And ultimately committed a foul according to Malik Badawi. The player down is Hackshaw, the Trinidad and Tobago national team. International.
Watch this here as Ownby gets that just ahead, and I'm not really sure what the foul is there from Ownby beyond the collision.
Hackshaw not part of the Trinidad and Tobago team called up for World Cup qualifying is their hope beginning to drown a bit in the CONCACAF hex. Chang lifts it to the top of the 18-yard box. Nodded away. Flag was up for offside. About a quarter of an hour gone. A goal kick, rather a goalkeeper kicking Imran Jetsing from the top of the 18.
Now you see James O'Connor there at the bottom of your screen, very animated there tonight, and I think his team has responded from last week. A much more urgency and a little determination on both sides of the ball. Not only trying to get forward, but defensively coming back and winning balls back in possession, something that they lacked a little bit last week against OCB.
And it's Del Piccolo along the midfield line. McCabe continued it on. Chang, a lengthy clearance. This portion of tonight's broadcast presented by official partner of Louisville City, Sullivan University. Turned over to the foot of Guerra on a square ball at midfield by a bend. Portillo, 6 goals and a half dozen assists as well. Portillo got it ahead, and it's launched in right at Ranjitsingh from the left side corner of the box. Cordova is starting to make his presence known. Typically they'll play 2 forwards with Romario Williams as well. It sort of changes the narrative a bit when he's not available.
Yeah, you want to be a little bit cautious on the road. You always would love to get the 3 points, but when you're going into a place like Louisville and their home record, so difficult to play at home, you have to be, defense first, and come out of there with a point would be a successful trip here. I think last weekend was a bit of an anomaly with the way that Louisville showed up. Everybody has a bad day at the office and just nothing went their way.
Ownby overrunning, quite nearly forced a turnover in the back line. It's a bit stifling now from Louisville's pressing attack. Brought down by Davis on the crossfield pass intended for Chang. Turned over to Hackshaw, but tapped right back to Gaia Bend for Louisville City. 1 win in the last 9 for Charleston. They started with a 10-win, 2-loss, 4-draw record, 34 points in 16 games. As this long ball flighted too far and out over the byline, it's been a real struggle since. In the end, just 7 points in the last 9 games.
Yeah, we talked about it last week with Romario Williams leaving to go to the Gold Cup for Jamaica, and that really seemed to, stop the momentum that Charleston had and the great run of play they had when they lost that goal scorer. They just weren't able to replace Romario Williams, and when he came back, they seemed to remain in that funk for a while there, and they seemed to struggle to get the results now.
Davis, a lengthy diagonal ball. Again, out over the byline. Mike Anhauser has been at the helm since 2005 with the team going all the way back to 1994. First as a player and then an assistant, GM, and head coach. He's literally been at every stage outside of Waterboy in the Battery organization.
And you think about this game and the implications as far as the playoffs are concerned. All the top teams coming off the losses last week, with Toronto FC beating Charlotte Independence, and with Richmond beating Charleston, Louisville losing to OCB. The Rowdies on a bye had a great break, but the Rowdies just can't seem to get anything together on the road, and they're currently now losing 3-1 to New York Red Bulls 2, so that's going to hurt them a little bit more again.
Played ahead into the box for Louisville City. It's a clearance for Mueller. Out to Davis. Now McCabe. Back for a bend. 40 yards to net. Slicing ball over the top comes off a deflection to Timbakis. Both Robinson and Van Schaik on the coverage. It's a weird week when the top 3 teams lose, in that nobody gained any ground. If Charleston wins here tonight, it would be level on points with Charlotte and Louisville at 44, top of the East in the USL.
And as well, get a little bit more distance from the 4th place in the Tampa Bay Rowdies right now.
Thomas, Shang on the near touchline. Speaking with Mike Anhauser, he says it's the humidity, it's the heat. No one wants to play in Charleston in the playoffs, much less in the heat of summer. Home games matter at the end.
Well, they certainly do, and that's why Charleston wants to continue to get results, especially here on the road. And they've been doing a good job in the first 20 minutes of keeping Louisville outside and really not being able to threaten inside the box. They've got a lot of bodies behind the ball when it gets into that final third, and just keeping them outside.
Perfectly weighted for Davis, who sends service. Comes down to Higashi, who has to play it with Ombi breathing down his neck. Van Schaik. Ombi slid in, gets as far as Evil Cordovez, and spins up the line and back into Louisville possession. 21st minute, scoreless between Louisville, top of the East, 44 points, level with Charlotte, 2 games in hand. The Charleston Battery, 41 points, 3rd in the East, 2 games behind Louisville in terms of games played. They've played 25 to Louisville's 23. Out to touch, throw to Charleston. Funny thing is, you talk about how good they are at home. They've only lost once, but they're only 1 game below 500 on the road. They're one of the better teams in the USL away from home, too.
And this is a team that is always very organized, very similar styles. They can go onto the road as well and play the same way that they do at home against teams. They don't necessarily have to put men behind the ball in their 3-4-3 lineup. They'll drop more people back defensively, certainly, but they can still attack in waves on the road too, and that's where they've been very successful in generating and creating on the road and scoring goals.
Early in the year, we were thinking about Charleston. Who's going to stop them? That 4-4 draw with Louisville, you thought maybe no one could. Davis up the left-hand side of the 18-yard box and works in on Thomas. Drop pass for McCabe, Del Piccolo, and a bend. Central, over the top. Flag is up for offside against Jimenez, although it was tight.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. We had a good angle of it there to see if Jimenez had timed it, and I thought he came around the outside and made sure that he had timed that run properly, but the flag goes up.
Alex Tembakis to kick it away. Carlos Bocanegra speaking to his big upside when he was the first player signed by Bocanegra for Atlanta United. Sent on loan now for 2 consecutive years with a pretty good goalkeeper manning the spot for Atlanta now. Tosh off the ball a little too far up, and Hackshaw sends a header off to the far touchline. There's only one player there, and it's a Louisville purple jersey.
There you see again, Charleston just doing a good job of packing the center of the field there and keeping Louisville to the outside and making them force back and regroup, keeping them to the flanks and not really getting anything that's going to be dangerous on Tembakis right now. And there you go. They step up, close down in a hurry, turn the ball over.
Sliding challenge by a bend is on point. Malik Badawi was right in on that play, allowed play to continue as Guerra had coughed the ball up. And now Charleston, who got possession back, send it deep into the Louisville half. Del Piccolo taken by Thomas at right back for Chang. Off Jimenez. Ownby. Deflected down off Van Schaik. Headed back by Reynolds, and Tosh ultimately back to Ranjetsing in goal for Louisville. Hey fans, stay up to date. The latest USL news and information from around the league is on USL Coast to Coast, Monday 7 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. And don't forget, Sirius XM FC airs the USL Game of the Week and games all week long. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Welcome wherever you may be watching or listening for that matter. Mike Watts, Lee Godfrey, 25 minutes gone. Louisville and Charleston scoreless at this point. Two teams that have combined for a 4-4 and a 1-1 draw in this, their third meeting, trying to find a winner of the supposed rubber match.
Very evenly matched tonight so far. So much of this game being played in between the boxes.
Ownby drops back. McCabe fires. It's a curler knocked away by Timbakis. Looked like he was spinning inside the post in the 26th minute. Timbakis makes his first big save of the game.
It's another
Timbakis just being better safe than sorry there. I'm not sure if that would have curled around without him touching it at that back post as we have another look. But finally, a good shot on goal by McCabe. And there you see the palm on. I think that probably would have went wide, but still the best opportunity for Louisville.
Service on the corner, headed up and over by a bend. As clean a header as we've seen in the last 2 weeks from Louisville City, who had scored 5 goals in 4 games off set pieces, and then against OCB looked completely lost on corners.
Yeah, they did. And then OCB gets one corner and they put it in the back of the net on their first try. So James O'Connor talked about being disappointed in the defending of that corner kick, just leaving a player wide open in the box. That can't happen. As we've seen, both keepers now being tested once in this first half, and they look like they're on their game.
Chang skirts by Craig, sends it over the top. It's a complete whiff, falls down in the box and away from Higashi. Could have been Cordovez, and now Ownby sent to the ground by Van Schaik in transition.
Now Louisville very fortunate there, aren't they, Mike? Cordovez left open at the top of the 6-yard box. That cross comes to him at his feet and just took a bounce where he completely whiffed on it. But if he got something on that, that would have been a very dangerous opportunity on goal for the Charleston Battery.
Davis hampered by Thomas, finds a bend. Jimenez playing on the right tonight. Now it's Ownby, right-hand side of the box, sending it toward the top. Hackshaw cut it out before it found a bend.
And that's been the story tonight so far. All that service into the box just has not been very good by the Charleston Battery, not being able to find someone to get on the end of those.
Send up the left-hand touchline for Charleston. They try and get out on the break. Cordovez did get service in. Ranjetsing will dive out on it. Ranjetsing, native of Ontario, has declared internationally for Trinidad and Tobago. Has been on the bench, including against the United States previously. Trinidad and Tobago and the United States will match up in the final game of the hexagonal, which American soccer fans hope is unimportant by that point.
Yeah, well, after last night, it all of a sudden did become important for the United States of America, losing at home to Costa Rica. I was just surprised by the amount of support for the Costa Rican national team during that game. It almost seemed like there was a lot of fans there.
Yeah,
and they were loud. That's what I'm getting at. They had a lot of their own fan base coming out to support them, that's for sure.
Atula Guerra took a shot that ricocheted wide. Oh, don't be like that. Oh, don't throw New York under the bus.
It's an international city.
That's right. It's a
same
multicultural.
Way. And hey, when I living in Toronto, anytime Mexico came to town, Jamaica came to town, it was like it was a home game for the away team because there's just so much cultural diversity in those two great cities.
Well, Red Bull Arena, always a great host. But in this case, United States falling 2-0. Marco Arena, those goals. Ownby, edge of the area. Sends it toward Illich, heads it back across the face of goal. Jimenez trying to put a foot to it. And Chang charges out for Charleston. Maybe could have done more with it, as Cordovez had the service taken away before he could latch on.
Yeah, Michael Chang, I think, had a lot more time and space to do some more with that. Instead, he just tried to force one through and forward, and Louisville defended that well.
Scoreless at the half-hour mark in Louisville, Kentucky. Slugger Field, the site. Major game. Playoff implications in the Eastern Conference. United Soccer League.
Now you can see through the first half an hour just how evenly matched these two sides are. Really a chess game in that midfield to see who can win the battles to try to get something inside that final third. And right now, both teams with one good opportunity in the first half.
On the ground, Illich, too strong a touch to maintain possession. Now Davis lofted over the top, and another offside flag up against Louisville. And James O'Connor doesn't seem to agree.
No, and I'd almost agree with him as well. That's the second time now on that side. George Davis, the fourth, has gone offside, and it appeared both times that he had timed his run properly. And that's always a beef I'll have in this game, is that the assistant referees can't go the length of the field on either side, because you're asking someone on the complete opposite side of the field to be able to have that vision to see where the offensive player started their run, and you're looking through so many more bodies. If you had an assistant referee on this side of the pitch, that's much more easy to see that one happen.
You're saying like an NFL game, have a referee on both sides converge. Is it a touchdown or not? Is it a first down or not? Right?
Yeah,
is that where?
Well, I'm saying that the assistant referee that's playing the side of the Louisville team right now, where they're defending, should be able to pass that half and go all the way up and down the entire length of the pitch to have a better view of if someone's offside or onside. It's very tough to look across the field. This is a narrower field, Slugger Field, but on the majority of times they're gonna miss some calls that are going to be game changers.
When's the last time you ran 115 yards? This is a long effort all over the bar. For me, it's been a while, so I almost don't want to throw it all at the assistant referee's feet.
Well, they're certainly a lot better shape than you and I are, but the main official is doing a lot of running in the game as well, just as much as the players out on the pitch. So my biggest concern is just to get the call right, and sometimes I think it's difficult for the assistant referee on the opposite side to be able to make that call and get it right 100% of the time.
Lee, if we're going to do this, I'm just saying that the fourth official needs at least 2 subs available to him if those ARs are gassed at the end of the game.
No, I'm okay with that.
We're rewriting the rules. 33 minutes go on. Charleston and Louisville scoreless. A throw for Michael Chang. 5th year with Charleston. Last year, as good a year as he's had. 6 goals and 6 assists. Thomas off of Davis, who's acutely aware of the rivalry that exists between Charleston and other long-standing teams in the league. Playing with the Richmond Kickers, but perhaps no rivalry the last couple of years has been more bitter than Charleston-Louisville for Battery fans who have seen their team fall in the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Slugger Field. Defended well on the deep throw in the offensive half for Louisville, but turned over to Chang. Ownby. It was a good layoff. Again, led himself too far. Miles Robinson stepped forward. Out of play, Van Schaik. Deflection from a Louisville player. Thomas off of Tosh. Back to Portillo. Oh, he just missed it wide. It flew by Ranjitsingh.
He's having a big sigh of relief right now because I think he had Ranjitsingh beat. If that was just inside the post, I don't think he was getting across to that. What a strike from long distance. As you see a diving Ranjitsingh getting there, I think he would have been a little bit late there. A close call for Louisville. A great opportunity for the Charleston Battery.
Justin Portillo. You don't want to call him one of a kind in this league, but there aren't many like him, what he brings to the field.
I always love it when you see players take shots from distance. You never know what's going to happen.
Ownby right side byline, sends it to Illich. It's kicked away by Timbakis.
Oh, great footwork there by Illich. Looked like he did the little back heel to be able to get that on goal, and Timbakis had to be very aware and make the save with his foot as well.
You do feel like Brian Ownby has started to find his own a little bit. He missed some time due to injury, and he's starting to have his way on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and that's what he does so well, and sometimes, like we said, it doesn't show up in the stats how much that he does contribute to this team in the buildup of play and really being that creative player in the attacking midfield coming forward and on that right-hand side. He has 4 goals on the season, but it's what he brings in that setup and the transition he's such a big part of.
Chang on the ground, right side, speeding through. Guerra on the turn. Well won by Craig. Is that what's called a duel? At times, some of these stats with Opta, you aren't quite sure what you're looking at. But if he wins a lot of those, he's going to be in good shape. It was well won.
I think it's a good... If you have the same defensive player and offensive player battling throughout the whole game and having a real fight between the two of them, I think that's where that becomes a storyline. Other than that, throughout the game, if it's just anywhere else on the pitch with players that, aren't having that battle with each other. I like the individual battles of a left back and a right forward, really, having a battle throughout a game.
Well, we may see it on tap here. Ownby is turned away by Van Schaik.
Yeah, and that's been the main battle certainly tonight, as far as that right-hand side. Ownby and Van Schaik on the left back position, and the beginning of the match, it certainly was being won by Van Schaik, but as this has come along, Ownby has been creating a little bit more and getting more opportunities into the box as that through ball finds Timbakis.
Van Schaik returning to the team, was in the NASL last year. Shoulder surgery slowed him down this year. He had offers from other USL teams, but the former Battery captain said this is where he wanted to be, and starts at left back for just the 3rd time in his return, his 2nd stint. Hackshaw comes down to Chang, tried to tap off and find Guerra.
I think Chang there would have been better off to bring that forward to his right foot and try to get around the outside to have an opportunity. Instead, he puts that back into the middle, and there wasn't a white jersey to be found.
Curling ball from a bend. Of Hackshaw. Davis. Ownby freelancing into the left-hand side. Spun off the ball at the touch. Chang took it away. Guerra. Higashi all the way back to Mueller. Year number 6 in Charleston. They do have some veteran players on the roster, very familiar with Mike Anhauser, Battery organization. Higashi cuts by Jimenez toward Cordovez from Guerra. Clever idea. Ombi colliding with Higashi, arms outstretched. Grabbing for the left side of his torso as Ombi is back to his feet.
Yeah, Higashi, even though he was the culprit there going in from behind on Brian Ombi, seemed to take the worst of it after the fact. And I think that might be it for the conversations as far as some of these fouls are going, that I won't be surprised if one of those similar happens once again, that the yellow card will come out.
Malik Badawi has been quite judicious so far. Switching ball, Davis sends it up top. McCabe headed down by Mueller. The touch got away a bit.
Yeah, you see McCabe slap his hands there.
All won by Reynolds to keep the attack on for Louisville City. Cordovez was trying to speed the other way. Davis, Thomas following him all the way out. Onby, middle of the field.
Louisville forwards are not giving the player in behind like a Brian Ombi or George Davis. They're not making any runs. They're standing still beside the back four of the Charleston Battery, so they're just not getting open. They need to make that run, give a little point forward and direct that ball. Send me that ball in, and if you keep providing that service once in a while, you're going to make some contact, but you're never going to make any contact or give a look to any of your players going forward if you don't make those diagonal runs into the box. Try to find a channel in between the back four in order to get that service, and that's why right now you see Louisville getting to the top of the box and then they're stopping and having to reset because they're not making those runs into the box.
Into Mueller's chest. Chang pushed down the near side touchline. Davis turned it over to Hackshaw. Off of Craig. Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the United Soccer League. More information by visiting NikeSoccer.com. 43rd minute scoreless between Louisville and Charleston, and I keep going back to your early comment. This just looks like a pretty even game.
Yeah, I think these two, they're very talented teams. They're very disciplined. They both coach so well. It's very difficult for either side to break through. It's going to be one of those individual mistakes that could provide the spark for either team tonight.
Ownby, bit short on the return ball. Portillo knocked down by Cordovez, but right to Tosh for Louisville. Ranjetsing the clearance off his own doorstep. Portillo brings it down, the man out of Coastal Carolina. And Tim Bacchus on it now for the Battery in goal. Portillo, a 360, whips it out to the left, and Shake running on the inside of Higashi, trying to make himself available, and does to Guerra. Up the left-hand side, it's Portillo's service right at the goal line. Ranjetsing yanks it down.
Michael Chang coming forward there, waiting for that one in the box, but just floated up a little bit too much there for Chang to get on the end of it and try to get his 5th goal of the year. Ranjetsing out to make sure there was no danger.
Gaia bend, high arcing ball, perfectly brought down by Jimenez. Del Piccolo pivoting to the left. Davis has stayed on time this time. Give and go, Chang broke it up.
Yeah, that almost worked into a nice 1-2.
Tosh on the ground, deflected away by Mueller.
The clock is past 45 minutes.
1 minute of stoppage time. A bend up the right, brought down by Jimenez. A touch that has him tracking back. Tosh a touch, top of the 18. McCabe off of a bend. Cleared out. Cordovez trying to speed by. Reynolds going stride for stride, turning him away.
You can see Cordova is asking for support, putting his hands out, and he's frustrated slapping them now because just no one coming forward and finding space for him. He was waiting to give that to a teammate and just no support there, as I'm sure Charleston's happy just to try to wind this clock down and get into the locker room at halftime with a 0-0 scoreline.
Van Schaik to throw. Stoppage time has run out in the first half. And the whistle to prove it from Malik Badawi. Halftime between Louisville and Charleston. Even scoreline, pretty even game.
Very even game. Like I said, these are two teams that are just going to be looking for one to make a mistake, possibly to get that one all-important goal. A very defensive-like battle between these two teams, really played box to box.
Illich held without a goal. Cordovez as well. The two center forwards walking in lockstep on their way off the field. Portillo, one of the great chances of this first half for Charleston Battery, walking his way toward the dirt around the field. Fans have enjoyed this one. It's been a pretty even affair. Ranjetsing a couple key saves. Timbakis has gone save for save with him. 45 gone. Highlight stats. A look around the league when we return.
Box combo, please.
At Raising Cane's, we do one thing. And we do it better than anyone else. So why not let our food do the talking?
Love in the window.
Raising Cane's, only the best chicken finger meals. One love.
Pizza, beer, sports. A great combination. Join other sports fans at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House in Louisville, where you'll find what Food Network says is the best pizza in Kentucky. Incredible game day and social hour specials starting at just $2. With an award-winning menu and one of city's best local craft beer lists. Just one bite, and we know you'll love it so much, you'll come back time and time again at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House, your social sports destination.
When my hair is too long, I don't feel right. But when I get a cut, I'm me again, only better. My tattoo gets feistier. My crazy eye snaps to attention. I become my own Wi-Fi hotspot.
I just downloaded the entire internet.
And trust falls? They don't even scare me anymore.
That pomade really broke my fall.
Get in, get out, back to greatness. Download the online check-in app. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
The heat is hot. You should have some adult beverages when you go with the heat.
We come here pretty much every Friday now. We've been here several times and we love it.
Everything is fantastic, sides and all.
Chicken and waffles, it's excellent. It's the best place you can get it.
It's so hot, you actually get a buzz from eating this.
You come get takeout that tastes like something you cook at home. That's what keeps me coming back.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records. With elite players and future stars, innovative technology, and new homes. We're growing the game. in our communities, and across the nation. Are you ready?
Welcome back to Louisville, Kentucky. Certainly tonight, a focus on saluting to heroes near and far, and there have been plenty in Texas and in Louisiana with Hurricane Harvey. It's 0-0 here, but our thoughts and prayers going out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey. The USL encouraging fans to donate to the American Red Cross, 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text the word Harvey to 90999 to make a donation. Meanwhile, Louisville City getting in on the action in a special way as well. Lee, how much would you pay for those jerseys? The one on the left from 2016 and the brand new GE jerseys in 2017 signed by the team.
Yeah, however much they go for, I hope they go for a lot because of the cause, that's for sure. So you need people in the area, go online, donate, and step up to be able to help the people in Hurricane Harvey relief efforts.
Although J.J. Watt's done a pretty good job himself.
Yes, he absolutely has.
Right now, it's still at 200, and they'll continue to rise. So you can go find those as well. You can bid through 4 p.m. on Tuesday. You can, of course, continue to contribute, redcross.org. And as well, certainly can check the Louisville City Twitter feed. I'm sure they'll continue to keep you abreast on what's going on there. Meanwhile, 0-0 here at halftime. Louisville-Charleston, back with highlights in a moment.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing your credit score.
So I'm approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Week 23 of the 2017 USL regular season was one for the record books. 5 midweek matchups took center stage as the league's total attendance record was shattered. Wednesday night saw the USL surpass the 1.5 million mark in total attendance, pushing past 2016's total attendance in just 6.5 weeks after the league passed the 1 million mark. FC Cincinnati continues to lead the league in average attendance with more than 20,000 fans per game, with Sacramento Republic FC not far behind. But notably this season, the league has more than doubled its number of teams averaging more than 5,000 fans per game, with 9 clubs above that mark. Those 9 teams, which include newcomers Reno 1868 FC, Ottawa Fury FC, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, sit in the top 11 in average attendance nationally outside Major League Soccer. With the season pushing on, the 2 million attendance mark is on the horizon. As the race for the 2017 USL Cup playoffs heats up, the league's fans are not cooling down. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Halftime in Louisville. I know the jerseys cost a decent penny, but I'd pay a decent amount for that cotton candy too.
He looks like they both look like they're enjoying it.
Yeah, those teeth are turning blue. Halftime here at Louisville, Charleston, 0-0. Here are the halftime highlights, which are far less entertaining than that. But in the end, it was a very even effort between these two sides. Louisville getting forward in the early going. Ball played through to Omby. We saw this a lot. Tim Backus there to make the save.
Yeah, that's just a better movement of the ball throughout the midfield by Louisville City. But from that angle there, no problems by Tim Backus to make the save early on. And then at the other end of the pitch, you know, that's a good press forward and an interesting turnover there. And here is the one shot from the outside by number 21, Michael Chang, and he forces Ranjitsingh to make a fantastic save there with that right palm and just get that over, or it would be 1-0. The best opportunity on target for the Charleston Battery. Long shot there. Ranjitsingh was able to get on the end of that. Cordova's shot from outside the 18-yard box. And then at the other end, Brian Omby again. He's the one that's been setting all these up, and he just puts it back to Niall McCabe. And I think this one might have been going wide, but still, Tim Backus gets a palm on it just in case. Better to be safe than sorry. Certainly the best shot for Louisville City in the first 45 minutes of play. And then I do know that Justin Portillo had another long distance strike. Maybe that one's coming up. But again, as the half went on, you did see through this part from the half to the 18-yard box opportunities, but when you see balls go over the top like this, Illich not being able to get that on frame, on goal at least, for Tim Backus to try to make a save. So there you see the numbers aren't that great when you look at shots on target and shots. So very evenly played. Louisville getting a little bit possession, but on a whole, I think the offsides have hurt Louisville a couple of times this half, but a very evenly played first 45, Mike.
Strong first 45 from both of these teams, who are in a battle at the top of the Eastern Conference. Louisville with 3 points could move clear of Charlotte. Charleston could draw level on points. The sun is out. Second half coming up shortly.
The summer clearance event is now at Commonwealth Dodge Ram. Save $6,300 on a new 17 Journey, now just $15,990. $6,000 off a new 17 Grand Caravan, now $23,790. And if you're busy, we'll bring the test drive to you. Check it all out at CommonwealthDodge.com.
Fast foodies know how to get a win before the game even starts. And winning just got easier because the 4 for $3 comes with the Rally Burger with cheese, fries, apple pie, and a drink for just $3. Beats trying to fill up on overpriced stadium food. The 4 for $3 deal with your choice of 3 sandwiches. Rallies and Checkers.
The official burger of the Louisville Cardinals.
Louisville City FC on WBNA 21 is sponsored in part by
Commonwealth Dodge, the Tri-State's #1 Dodge Ram dealer, home of a lifetime powertrain warranty. Guts, glory, Ram.
There's a new TV show here in Louisville you need to check out. It's Hey Kentucky.
But you know the NCAA, they're going to make some, it's going to be like an Abraham Isaac sacrifice.
Hey Kentucky, we are here in Nashville at the George Jones Museum with the Possum and some people behind us, and we're going to talk about the UK game. Here's what we do. We talk about all the news of the state. That includes Kentucky basketball, but also politics, entertainment. Whatever's going on, we give it to you. 10 o'clock every night, WBNA Channel 21.
sustainable and toxic-free building supply, everything you can imagine for the inside of your home.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll invest $100,000 in your company.
Don't miss Season 3 of Dream Funders, Wednesdays at 8.
Ram Truck Headquarters is Commonwealth Dodge Ram. Save $8,000 on a new Ram 1500 4x4 Crew Cab. Now just $31,515. A Sporty Charger or Challenger SXT, your choice. Just $24,288. Commonwealth Dodge Ram, right on Preston and always right on the price.
Well, it is a little chillier. I'm not sure it's time for the raccoon skin hat, but that's the way it goes. Back in Louisville, Kentucky. It is early September now, and the playoff race heating up. Look at some news and notes around the United Soccer League. Kevin Kerr helping to lead Pittsburgh to another draw today, and a 3-2 win against Bethlehem Steel in the past week. He's the player of the week. Eastern Conference leaders, of course, Louisville, 5 wins in the last 7, a couple of 5-0 wins. And Lee, lest we forget, 18 current and former players are in World Cup qualifying right now from the USL.
Yeah, that is fantastic and a real positive for this league in showing just how good it has become and how organized it is, and that players are just at the top of their game and playing in the United Soccer League.
Meanwhile, just 3 goals in the last 5 games for Charleston Battery. These teams met for the first time this year on June 3rd. It was a 4-4 draw where it seemed like both teams were trying to make up for lost time after that very heated playoff affair. Romario Williams scores twice. Garbanzo scores as well. So too does Chang. A very even game. And a lot of comebacks from Louisville City.
And, you had an own goal. You had, deflections. You had just some fantastic goals on both sides of the pitch. It just seemed like it was never going to end with Louisville coming back by down 2 goals 3 times. There you see 2 deflections, and it was just a crazy one to call, and just such a contrast in the next time the 2 teams met. Here was a great Ombi goal on the cut in and just lets it rip with his left footer, and it all ends up 4-4 because of an own goal at the very end of the game right there. So just a crazy match, a little bit more disciplined out there tonight by both sides.
Richie Ballard was pretty pleased with that effort. Might we see him tonight? Lancaster, Spencer, Ballard, and Morad are the only available field players for Louisville, with Kay, Williams, and Smith out of the lineup tonight. For Charleston, they're without Romario Williams, who scored twice in the first meeting between these 2 teams this year. The former 3rd overall pick in the 2015 MLS Super Draft is with Jamaica. What kind of changes do you see from Charleston in this second half if they're going to find a better offensive rhythm against Louisville?
I'm not sure if it needs to come from the midfield and just finding more service for Guerra and Cordovez moving forward. I think that they played a good 45 minutes on the road and created some opportunities. I think if they stay the course, if Louisville continues to play the same, I think the adjustments have to be more on Louisville's side. You see the amount of goals they were scoring in August with some big wins. 5-0 against Cincinnati against their rival was huge, and now they've gone 135 minutes at home without scoring a goal. And for Louisville, that's unheard of this year so far. So they're the ones that I think need to really push a little bit further. Well, Charleston would be very happy to leave here 0-0, I think.
Into the second half of play with Lee Godfrey, Mike Watts. This portion of today's broadcast is brought to you by Plainview Apartments, the official housing partner of Louisville City. Sun is out now. Some rain slickers for both coaches in the opening half. Hopefully the sun here to stay as Tosh sends it over Cordovez and finds Reynolds playing the center of a 3-back look for Louisville again tonight. And the offensive woes started without Kyle Smith. Jimenez, it's cut off by Hackshaw. You have to wonder, whenever you take one piece out and things sort of turn a little bit from the run of form, could that be the difference? Kyle Smith is ubiquitous in the lineup. The first name you can write in most nights. He's still suspended.
Well, and Mark Anthony Kay getting taken out obviously tonight and during the Gold Cup at Louisville didn't seem to struggle with his absence through that time. They were able to still compete and still put up points, and it was Charleston that really hurt more with, basically a player that had scored well over almost half of the entire team's goals. You take them away, and they're just average with where the rest of the league was. So he was just such a dominant player before Gold Cup, and hasn't come back to that form, and the Charleston Battery haven't found that form once again. So, but for tonight, I think you put all of that aside because these are just so equally balanced teams out there, and I think they both know it. I think they both respect each other a great deal, and it's going to be like I think a mistake on one side or the other, one person making that individual error, because right now as a whole both teams have played pretty strong. It's just been that lack of being able to get something through in that final third.
All the way to Timbakis for Charleston, goalkeeper on loan from Atlanta United. Charleston taking 34 points in their first 16 games, good for over 2 points per contest, and over the last 9 down to 0.7 of a point per contest, a little bit over that. Every team has had their dip this year, it seems. This happens to be Charleston's. Off the head of Hackshaw. Nods it a second time, but right to a bend. Played through by Jimenez. He's on it again. Jimenez takes a shot. It curls well out of play. Jimenez maybe looking a bit at our highlight reel at halftime and seeing his goal against Charleston in the previous meeting.
Yeah, quite possibly, or trying to set up Brian Ownby as well there. You saw Ownby getting his hands up on his head. That ball was so close to getting through to him, and he knew he'd have a good opportunity.
Del Piccolo brings it down. A bend. Lob over the top, comes down to Ownby, off of Robinson. Now Illich arrives. Portillo kicks it out.
It's one thing to keep generating opportunities and not get frustrated, because Louisville is doing that. It's their one step away from getting that great shot on goal. There you see Brian Ownby just having that ball tapped away from him, and you see Illich coming in from behind, and he just couldn't get onto it. It's so close for Louisville, and that's probably been a little bit frustrating for them, but they can't let that get to them. You just have to keep persevering.
Ownby for Jimenez, who stuck his foot out and had it careen over the byline. Goal kick to Charleston 4 minutes into the second half. And these teams met for that 4-4 draw. James O'Connor brought it up on our call this week. They were 1-2 in defense in the league. It was a real shocker. And so in some ways, the fact that it's gone from 4-4 to 1-1 to currently 0-0, perhaps more coming to form with how good these teams can be defensively than anything.
And that game also really sparked Louisville offensively. They hadn't scored a lot of goals to that point, and just to see that outburst really did help them along the way. James O'Connor said it's not something you want to see all the time from your team, giving up 4 goals, but he also scored them. Great for the fans to watch a game like that, but as a coach, you don't want that.
Sales of alcohol inside Slugger Field will end in the 70th minute.
Bouncing ball that comes free to Tosh. Now bend the Israeli on the ground. Ownby has to reverse to recollect. Del Piccolo now sent wide by McCabe. Del Piccolo. The bend allows it through, sent over the top. Comes to Timbakis. McCabe, the target from Ownby, who's stroking that luscious beard in frustration.
Much better there from Louisville in that final third, Mike. Just some quick one-touch passing, and you really can see how that spreads out the back line of the Charleston Battery. Created some space for them to find some channels to try to get that ball through, and once again, just a foot or two away of getting that final touch, the all-important one, and to get something on target and on goal.
Bit of pressure from Cordovez. Ranjetsingh hits it right to Mike Anhauser, who knocks over all the cones near the bench to get a quick throw in. Down goes Ownby, foul by Higashi. McCabe. This game being played at a special time. Lamar Jackson and the Louisville Cardinals begin their season later on tonight at 7:30 Eastern against the Boilermakers of Purdue. And so the team trying to make sure fans can go see both football and football tonight. Bouncing down to Illich, pushed away by Mueller. It's Davis on the ground. Skylar Thomas deflects it away. A bend from the center circle.
And right there, when you saw Jimenez get the ball on the right-hand side, he stops and pulls back because no one at the top of your screen.
Through Ownby. Timbakis got there because Robinson did enough to shield Ownby away.
No one, Mike, at the top of the screen making a run in. There was just white jerseys, and Jimenez did look up, and nothing there for him, so he has to turn back and regroup. And that is something where Niall McCabe on that side or George Davis on that side and needs to try to come in and get forward and give them a target.
Cordovez, Guerra deflects free. Van Schaik. Up the line, Higashi. Guerra tries to give it back. Higashi going all the way to the byline. Jimenez with him.
Because the longer I think this scoreline continues, it favors the Charleston Battery. You don't want to keep teams in it when you are at home. It's happened so many times in soccer where you've seen a team just be allowed to stick around, and they get that one opportunity and they make the most of it, and then they can just go into a bit of a defensive shell and try to hold off the pressure.
Cordovez. And the flag shaking from the assistant referee. It's a foul, far touchline. And Paco Craig will take over. Louisville does have a handful of really talented goal scorers available to them off the bench. Ballard has scored 3 this year. Spencer has scored 8. Cameron Lancaster has 6 of his own. So 2 of the 3 leading scorers on the team are sitting on the bench right now, waiting for the opportunity to make an impact, with Luke Spencer making his way toward the 4th official. Spencer was born on a military base and get the chance to come in on Salute to Heroes night. Jimenez off of Ownby. Perhaps could have done more there. Higashi. Hackshaw. Portillo. Higashi going to go across the field and left it short. Now the attack on for Louisville City. Sent to Ownby. Right-hand side, sends it low. Perhaps Illich was the target, but bounces easily into Timbakis.
You could see what Ownby was trying to do there as that ball gets pushed out wide to him, and he just gets this ball too far forward. That was never meant as a shot on goal. He needs to get way more pace on that ball and whip it in low and really make it tough for Timbakis to decide if he's going to come off of his line or hope that his defenders win the ball coming across.
It's Ownby. Slipped it through again. It was on the wrong shoulder for Niall McCabe. Timbakis there again, rather Illich. 56th minute, scoreless between Louisville and Charleston. A couple of the top scoring teams in the Eastern Conference in the USL this year. McCabe off the turnover. McCabe continues through. McCabe shoots. It's a kick saved by Timbakis as he slides it wide of the post. Oh, that was phenomenal from Timbakis.
That's a great run, too, though, by Niall McCabe as he just decides to take it upon himself to try to make a game-changing move. And he just runs right out. He had a tough angle there. If he gets that up just a little bit off the ground, Timbakis would have a tough time getting a toe on it. But in the end, it's a fantastic save by Alex Timbakis.
Ownby out, Spencer on. A substitution brought to you by Great Clips. Two players that are the very antithesis of what Great Clips is all about. Skips in the air, headed back across. There's contact in the box, and play will continue on. Back to George Davis, who collects near midfield. Sent up the right-hand side. Keeping this in play, Paco Craig. Higashi did not lose it over the near touchline and spins and sends it out to the halfway line.
No, we couldn't see because of the advertising signs. Fans thought differently.
Now the attack on Chang. Looking to find his second goal against Louisville this year and scooped it well over.
Here's another angle of McCabe, a lower one coming in and around and just putting that along the ground. And that was oh so close to not just finding that back post, but almost going through the legs of Tim Tembakis, who just gets a toe on that one to push it out wide. So the best opportunity for Louisville in this match tonight, and we're still at 0-0.
Hackshaw all the way to the touchline to allow it out. Van Schaik for the Battery off of Tosh, a bend. Del Piccolo steered it clear of Chang, and Craig walks it up to halfway and sends it on to Davis up the left-hand wing. Tosh taken by Higashi, stepped in on Jimenez. Jimenez attempts to return the favor off the ad signs on the near touchline. Game number 24 this year for Louisville. 3 more on the road, 5 more at Slugger Field before the playoffs begin. Both these teams appear headed toward home advantage in the first round of the playoffs as it stands now, 1-3. Spencer trying to get in behind. Away by Mueller. A bit unique to see Spencer playing out on the wing and Illich remaining in that central role.
Spencer's, yeah, because he is such a big body that you would think that you'd want him in the middle to be able to fight for those balls that come into the box.
Played on the ground. Illich got a touch, tried to play it through. Mueller there again for Charleston. He tries to start the attack up the other way. Higashi. There's space here for Thomas if he can collect. Davis toe pokes it away. Hops down to Hackshaw. Now Illich has moved a bit further back. He's impressed in training so much, and in this instance leaned in to try and put a foot to it, but Higashi was held by Del Piccolo. This portion of today's broadcast presented by Louisville City's official partner, Sullivan University. Well, set pieces were a problem for Louisville, and Portillo's one of the best in the league at it. 45 yards away from net, parallel to the near side, the 18-yard box. Portillo, that's headed down in the area. Multiple players throwing their hands up, and Tosh launching it out of play.
Now that one kind of floated up there, and it really just was to a bunch of bodies in purple jerseys instead. Only one white Charleston Battery jersey close to getting onto that one. I think a lot of people thought on the pitch that the whistle was going to go for a foul. It didn't, so it just lied there for a little bit.
Cordovez dispossessed. Spun up the near side for Jimenez. Spencer colliding, holding up play against Robinson. Off the foot of Craig. Tula Guerra giving chase. Davis up the line, knocked out by Chang.
And that's where you see what Luke Spencer can do in the middle. He can sit in with a center back, and he's big enough to be able to win that ball. What he needs is a support. He needs someone to push that ball out to if his back is to goal.
Illich gets the return ball from Jimenez. Looking for options. Slipped through, Thomas arrives. Sent up the left-hand touchline again. Contact from Skylar Thomas. He'll pick up the foul. George Davis going to ground. Free kick, Louisville 25 yards from the end line.
Yeah, and really the first good free kick opportunity tonight for Louisville City.
McCabe being called over by the referee, Malik Badawi now. Chang joining. Will this powwow end with peace?
I think McCabe would like to see a card for that. I think that these teams have been battling long enough, and you don't want to see anyone out there get hurt. I don't think it was anything intentional, but I think now McCabe needs to concentrate on the task at hand here, and that your team is tied 0-0 right now in the 64th minute of play, and you need a goal.
Mike Anhauser contemplating what to do next with the assistant coach on the bench. Free kick opportunity for a Louisville team that's made the most of them this year. Jimenez is headed away by Hackshaw. Sent back in on the scissor by Del Piccolo. Ricochets into the corner. Can Portillo knock it out? He does. Off the dugout railing. It's a throw for Louisville City. The USL, one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world. It features some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date. All the latest league news and information, USLsoccer.com, or follow them on Twitter at USL. Catch up with Chris Hockman's recap of the game as soon as this one's done. Nicholas Murray's 11 Things every Monday morning. Everything you need to know about the USL over at USLsoccer.com.
Well, possession much better this second half by Louisville City. They really do have Charleston defending quite a bit more.
And now the attack on. Purple jerseys flowing into the box. Contact between Thomas and Davis, who gets back up, sends the service. It's snapped over the bar by Spencer. Is looking for yet another goal off the bench for Louisville City this year, and in the 65th minute, he floats it over Tambakis.
Well, questions of a penalty call, yes or no, but the reaction is good, and Spencer gets up and just underneath that one, not able to get over top of that one and get it down on Tambakis.
How many times do you see a player simply concede the play because they thought a penalty should have been called?
It happens a lot. And you know, I've always been taught you don't stop until you hear that whistle go, and that's a great example of it. And it created a good opportunity for Louisville City, not giving up on a play.
It's a foul against Louisville in transition. So Charleston, again, about 40-plus yards away from the net. This time a little bit closer, middle of the park. Last time Portillo sent it up. This time Chang, a line drive. Sent wide. Robinson battling along with Spencer. He kept it in play, and Louisville carries out of its own half. Del Piccolo sends it where there's no Louisville players. Portillo winds it back up the field for Charleston. Bouncing towards Reynolds, and Ranjit Singh will come to take it.
No, Louisville has to be very careful there. You don't want to have any communication problems on that long over-the-top ball by the Charleston Battery. And you cannot be giving them those type of opportunities when you really have control this second half. You don't want to allow them that one long ball and to be able to finish on it. That's just one of those things that really takes the wind out of your sails, especially when you're at home.
Charleston substitution.
Change coming. Forrest Lasso will come on. A familiar name. Third season in Charleston. Eviel Cordovez will come out. Mike Anhauser's substitution presented by Great Clips. It's going to be great. This ball bouncing over towards Van Schaik. Stretch pass for the Battery. Off the head of Lasso, fresh into the game. Reynolds got a piece. Chang continued the attack. Taken back by Louisville. Craig up the left. Davis. McCabe, can he get there? Sliding challenge by Mueller to play it out. Davis, crossfield pass. Collision. Tembakis got a hand to it, still looking for a foul, and it finally comes free. Charleston controls, back pass, and now cleared to midfield.
Very close to a big mistake there by Tembakis. He was looking for a foul, but when he came out off of his line to try to get that ball on Luke Spencer, they both have every right to fight for that ball, and he's very fortunate that Spencer or somebody else didn't come down with it.
Illich has found his way through. Contact from behind. He slides in. Ball squirts free from Tembakis. Referee keeps his whistle.
And you see, they don't give up on the play earlier. I think this is an example where Illich should have went down. There was a pretty good tug there from behind, and I think if he goes to ground, that might have been enough to kind of force the call, but he tries to stay on his feet and continue to play, but he was taken out of the play because of that pull on the jersey, and I'd be very interested if he would have went down what that call would have been.
Portillo off of a bend. Karams back to Mueller. Illich at midfield, chesting it down, but immediately dispossessed. Higashi joined the team as a trialist in preseason. Van Schaik, and now Portillo. Skylar Thomas played on the far touchline, former captain at Syracuse, youth international in Canada. Hackshaw tries a give and go, and was held away from that effort by Del Piccolo out over the end line in the 70th minute. Still no goals scored between Charleston and Louisville. And Jetsing preparing to kick away. The sun in his eyes now. Wasn't a problem in the first half. Turned into a gorgeous night in Louisville, Kentucky. Illich pops it further. Jimenez going down. Both players had a right to it. I think both players ultimately fell down more of their own accord than the other. Out away from Reynolds. Portillo tapping that through. Illich. McCabe front running up the left-hand side. Davis. A bend. Jimenez drives in right to Chang on the square ball, top of the 18.
They are just trying a little bit too hard, I think, like trying for that perfect play, that one too many passes, and just trying to force it instead of keeping it simple. Jimenez could have made one move to his right and tried to take a shot on goal, but just trying for that perfect play, and they're just giving away possession sometimes right around the top of the box.
Davis. Overlapping run continues on. Del Piccolo, a bend. Tosh overlapping on the right. All the way to Jimenez. There's the service toward the back post. Headed down, and Hackshaw sidewinds it back.
Niall McCabe is out there when Jimenez has that ball, and he's just standing up at the top of that far box. That's where Jimenez is waiting for him to make that diagonal run, whip a ball in there, then you can get some power on it. Luke Spencer standing there trying to get on top of a ball floated in. Not going to have any power behind that.
Substitution coming for Louisville. It's the rookie out of Indiana. Richard Ballard comes on for Niall McCabe. It's a substitution brought to you by Great Clips.
Well, Niall McCabe with one of the best chances for Louisville in that second half, making a nice run all on his own on that right-hand side and letting a shot go that Alex Tambakis just got a toe on to keep this one scoreless.
This game has been better on the eyes than the 0-0 scoreline might indicate. Thomas off of Tosh. Hackshaw. Guerra gives it back. Hackshaw sliding through. Guerra another touch. Cleared this time by Craig.
Bad ball there across the pitch. Just giving possession right back to Charleston in the final third.
Cordova is the only player on the Charleston bench right now. The other available substitutes looking on, warming up. Charleston has burned one. Louisville has used two of their available substitutes. Thomas. Contact from behind. Chang unable to take possession, and now Del Piccolo launching over the top of the back line. Held up on the skip. Mueller corralled it. Portillo. Hackshaw. Chang. Lifted down toward Lasso. Two players converge. Lasso back to his feet. Play continues. More contact. Malik Badawi being shouted at from behind by the center striker, Atula Guerra, who thought it was a clear penalty. Play continues on.
A lot of bodies on both teams going down in the box there, but the whistle stays down and play goes on. And Charleston coming close, so close there to just being able to get a foot on that ball as Louisville desperately defending in the box.
Davis back now to Del Piccolo. It seems like Louisville's best looks have come off of Charleston's best looks. Not the case this time around. Chipped over the byline as James O'Connor coaching from the near touchline. Extended through 2020 with the franchise when they opened a new stadium in the Butchertown neighborhood in Louisville, Kentucky. But drawing just fine at Slugger Field, some 9,000 on average. Tonight competing with one of the hottest tickets in college sports in Lamar Jackson. Quarter of an hour to play between Louisville and Charleston now.
Vote now for man of the match.
Foul as Del Piccolo was brought down by Neville Hackshaw. Hackshaw somehow has picked up the first yellow card of the match. We've waited a long time to see it one way or the other. Comes in the 76th minute. Third yellow card of the year to Hackshaw.
The referee has issued
I think that
yellow card.
Certainly is the right call, but I think that it's been overall a good game as far as the official is concerned, and what we've seen on both sides of it, not taking away from this one because it's just so tight between each team. If there is a goal scored, you might think that I think is going to be the difference in this game would be 1-0, the way that this has been played very cautiously by both sides, and when they get to the top of the box, no one being able to break through. Both teams for the most part. There's been a couple of good saves by both keepers, but as far as more shots on target.
Del Piccolo, contact for Ballard, who retains possession, sends it wide. Jimenez ripping it through, ricochets down, and Illich sends it eventually to Mueller, who clears. Paco Craig up the left-hand side. Numbers are forward for Louisville. Davis firing the service, bounces off of Ballard and right to Timbakis. He seems to have thought Spencer was going to get ahead to that. It came down, hit him right on the arm.
Another look as the ball's put in by Davis and going up, and Spencer misses the first one, and it does drop down into Ballard. You're right, I don't think he was expecting it to get that far. And then the previous opportunities, just so many players bunched up around the 6-yard box for both sides that in the end, no one on Louisville is able to get a good enough look to get a shot, and certainly there are a lot of numbers behind the ball for Charleston to block it.
Good turn by Spencer. Can he get behind Mueller? Well defended, comes free to Illich. Bounces it back, shot is in! Louisville breaks through in the 78th minute. Guy Abend. 1-0.
Well, it looked like it was coming. You knew that Louisville was putting on the pressure, doing their best. They had it inside the box so many times the second half, but just not able to get something through on Timbakis. And I thought that this one may have taken a deflection. It just took that bounce off the ground, and you see Timbakis diving to his right, but he just can't catch up to it. And Guy Abend gives Louisville that all-important 1-0 lead.
This is a Lou City goal brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. Winning ticket for Guy Abend. His first goal of the year in the 78th minute could be absolutely massive. Louisville's hopes to continue in first place through the weekend. Jimenez kept that in play, and eventually the near side official blows. That ball had gotten out. Guy Abend, a 20-yard shot, may have ricocheted on the way through, bouncing calmly by Timbakis. 78th minute. The lone goal for Louisville as we enter the 80th. A yellow card shown. Malik Badawi didn't make it entirely clear to us who got it. Jimenez continued to dribble toward the goalkeeper. That could have been it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, is just continuing the play.
Looks like Taylor Mueller got it.
That must have been for dissent, I would assume, then, as they wanted to get that play going very quickly after the ball had gone into touch of Jimenez.
Some backspin that made that playable for Spencer, but comes free to Van Schaik.
And shots from distance, you know, that's the type of goal that doesn't surprise me here. We're trying those 1-2 touches at the top of the box, just trying to get someone through that back line. And finally, the guy Abend sees that he has a couple of yards in front of him, time and space to take that shot. It takes a fortunate bounce, and that's the difference right now, as Louisville now just has to defend a 10-minute 1-0 lead, but I don't think that's enough for them. 1-0, you can't take your foot off the gas quite yet. You have to continue the exact same way that you went into this game and continue to try to play it the same.
In this rivalry, you can never take your foot off the gas. It's Chang trying to prove that point. Gara back by Higashi. Chang curls service, headed out as far as Gara. Both teams playing a bit shorthanded. Charleston without Romario Williams. His Jamaica side will include Speedy Williams. They'll take on Mark Anthony Kay's Canada. Kyle Smith unavailable as well for Louisville on suspension. Van Schaik, Chang. Van Schaik ran inside at the byline. Service Goes all the way along the end line and all the way out to the other side. Thomas. Van Schaik back to his feet. It was a rocky landing. Throw in. Lasso. Cuts it back across. Van Schaik is there. Left-footed shot off of Jimenez. Ricochets out.
That was very nonchalant by Van Schaik. I thought he had a lot more time to be able to get that shot, that's for sure.
Nicholas Rittmeyer will come on.
Number 24.
That's enough for Kotaro Higashi. It's a substitution presented by Great Clips.
That substitution presented by
Chang off of Illich. Cincinnati has drawn Pittsburgh today. New York Red Bulls 2 into 8th. With the result over the Rowdies. Snap header is wide of Ranjitsingh. Charleston trying to pick up a point on the road to Louisville in the 83rd minute. Final sub, Patrick Okonkwo, Nigerian who's on loan from Atlanta United.
In the game, number 13, Patrick Okonkwo. He replaces number 5, Jared Van Schaik.
It's a substitution that's presented by Great Clips. Van Schaik on his way out. Funky spin on Thomas with Ballard coming. It's a throw to Louisville City on the clearance in the 84th minute of a 1-0 Louisville-led game. Mike Anhauser has used all 3 of his available substitutions, voicing continued frustration. 4th official. Conkwell. Portillo lofted over the top. It's out of the reach of Chang on the first bounce, and Jimenez lofts it out of play. Throw to Charleston, and a change coming for Louisville. Tarek Morad will come on for George Davis.
Number 6, Tom Moha. He replaces number 20.
It's a substitution that's brought to you by Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Presented by Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
I said it better.
I was just going to say, if that substitution didn't happen, I know the ball kids out there are wanting to do a fantastic job, but they have to be told a little something beforehand on how home advantage and away doesn't work. You don't want to be quick to give that ball right back to the Charleston Battery to throw it right in.
You're teaching 8-year-olds gamesmanship?
Absolutely.
What are you going to teach them next? Diving? What is this, Lee? 85th minute, flicked on by Lasso. Thomas spearheads another header. That's taken by Louisville.
I think James O'Connor would be happy to sit down with them all before the next game. Okay, guys and girls, this is how this works.
That's one heck of a clinic. Goodness me. .85 minutes gone. James O'Connor's Louisville City, a 1-0 lead over the Charleston Battery. See, that was better. Leave the ball.
Man of the match voted by you is number 15, Sean Reynolds. Man of the match is presented by Modelo
Spencer Illich. Cameron Lancaster, the only available field player sitting on the bench. As Louisville uses all 3 of their substitutes. And a kick gets high from Guerra. Question is what happens next. A bend is down. A yellow card shown. Multiple players now coming together.
Yeah, that's a dangerous foul there, and you just have to hope that Gaia Ben's okay. He's checking to see if there's any blood there.
To Charleston's number 20, Justin Portillo.
As Justin Portillo gets the yellow card and getting that foot up.
Find new roads at your nearest select Kentuckiana Chevy dealer.
I thought it was number 10, Guetta, instead, so I didn't think that Portillo could get his boot that high. And I don't know if that's what the conversation is, but they don't seem to be arguing. And, you know, that's the ones where you want to go back when yellow card accumulations start up, that the wrong person or the right person is given the card.
Tosh puts it back in play. No video review available tonight, although it has been available in some USL games this year. 87th minute, and a look at our save of the game, brought to you by MagnaWave, the leader in pulsed electromagnetic field therapy.
Yeah, and of course it's going to be Ranjitsingh on a giveaway here as this one gets pushed outside, and it is Michael Chang with a great shot, and what a job that Ranjitsingh does to get that palm up and just push that one over the bar.
Coming back in the first half, it was scoreless at the time. Throw to Charleston in the 88th minute as they try and eke out another draw against Louisville. It seems like these teams are destined for it. Louisville came back 3 different times, take a draw away back in June. They met again at MUSC Health Stadium, another draw, that time 1-1. And now Louisville, with 2 minutes plus stoppage time remaining, looking to even out the all-time series in the regular season at 2-2 and 3 draws. Bouncing down to Illich. Charleston looking for a 4th draw at Slugger Field. They've never won here. A couple of playoff games not going their way in 2015 and 2016. Something that surely sticks in their craw still.
Well, I think 3 draws between this team would have been that you could walk away with it like that and say, you know what, because there's just such talented teams where they are in the standings, but Louisville, they're getting the better of Charleston at home and getting the 3 points, so they get 5 over the series this season. And that really is, you know, it's a big difference, because that first 4-4 match, it was really the tables were turned. It was the Battery that was the hot team, and Louisville really struggling to score goals, and that kind of turned the corner for Louisville. And look where we see them now, top of the table, and Charleston's still right up there as well, but they don't want to be dropping too many more points the way that this is going down the stretch.
Chang, Ranjitsingh rose up over a handful of players to pull that in.
There's a Charlotte Independent still to come tonight at 7 Eastern, taking on the Richmond Kickers at home. They're looking to get back to their winning ways.
Who knew Richmond was so dangerous? They scored 2 goals and a half. Whoa. Maybe they're starting to figure things out.
And hey, the Charlotte Independents had an eye-opener with, what was it, 3 goals in 7 minutes from Toronto FC 2.
The 2 bottom teams in the East are starting to be real pesky for playoff contenders right now.
Yeah, they certainly, and that's how the coaches can motivate them. Say, go out there and be the spoiler. You know, you have to still, you know, respect yourself, respect the team you play for, the badge, and hold your head up high and fight for your job for next year. You don't know if you're going to be around. Every year there's changes to try to make your team successful. So at this point, those bottom teams, they're definitely playing for a job next season.
3 players converging around Jimenez to take the ball back into stoppage time.
An official time is being kept on the field. The center referee has added a minimum of 2 minutes.
2 minutes of added time.
Of extra time.
Skips ahead. Bouncing down, opportunity now. Cutting around is Rittmeyer at the byline. Service popped up in the air. Lasso colliding to try and keep the ball for Charleston in the area. Instead, out toward midfield, it's Chang. Lofted over the back line again. Initial header bounces down. Flag was up for offside against Okonkwo. Made his pro debut last time out. 27th of August against Richmond. Still 1 more minute of added time. Will that man have to make 1 more save?
Well, he's certainly going to try to run the time off the clock beforehand. Ranjitsingh taking his time, adjusting those socks, and I'm sure he'll be told to speed things up a little bit, but that's what this game is all about, especially at home. You want to make sure that, as you can see, Michael Anhauser saying, come on, let's get this game going.
Initial header, won by Louisville. Scooped out of play. Throw for Charleston. How many more looks will they get? Okonkwo navigating in tight quarters. Portillo up the right side. Thomas helicoptering one in. Jimenez. Into the corner. It's another throw for Charleston. Full-time whistle is seconds away. Louisville up a goal. It's a throw for Charleston deep in the attacking half. Portillo, Chang, service. Far side of the box, bounces toward the byline. And it is out for a goal kick and we reach full-time. One goal is enough tonight for Louisville City to knock off Charleston. They are assured first place in the standings for another weekend. James O'Connor's side, a 1-0 win over the third-place team in the East, the Charleston Battery. A shutout for Ranjitsingh, a fine performance tonight. Key saves throughout. Shutout number 6 for Ranjitsingh on the year.
I think overall it is a well-deserved victory for Louisville City. Very equal between these two teams in the first 45 minutes of play, but as that second half came around, Louisville City taking over possession battle, I think, a little bit more and getting into some dangerous areas at the top of the box, and it was that man right there, Guy Abend, who just had a little bit more time and space to be able to drive that one home to give Louisville City the 1-0 victory and get back to their winning ways at home.
Smoke flowing, scarves outstretched. Full time in Louisville. Guy Abend, the game-winning goal. Shaking hands with the head coach from Charleston Battery, Mike Anhauser, whose teams fall. And a 78th minute goal from Guy Abend. The Superman punch, and whatever that was. Final wrap-up when we return. Louisville winner 1-0.
Box combo, please.
At Raising Cane's, we do one thing. And we do it better than anyone else. So why not let our food do the talking? Love in the window. Raising Cane's, only the best chicken finger meals. One love.
Pizza, beer, sports. A great combination. Join other sports fans at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House in Louisville, where you'll find what Food Network says is the best pizza in Kentucky. Incredible game day and social hour specials starting at just $2. With an award-winning menu and one of city's best local craft beer list. Just one bite, and we know you'll love it so much, you'll come back time and time again at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House, your social sports destination.
When my hair is too long, I don't feel right. But when I get a cut, I'm me again, only better. My tattoo gets feistier. My crazy eye snaps to attention. I become my own Wi-Fi hotspot.
I just downloaded the entire internet.
And trust falls? They don't even scare me anymore. That pomade really broke my fall.
Get in, get out, back to greatness. Download the online check-in app. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
Two teams that may see each other down the line in the playoffs. It was another highly spirited affair at Slugger Field. Louisville back on the winning side of the ledger, first place in the East. For Charleston, the run continues. One win in their last 10. It finishes 1-0 as the captains sang hello to the fans in the supporters section at full time. Mike Watsley-Godfrey back with you. The goal scorer, Guy Abend, over there as well, getting some well-deserved praise. Here are the full-time highlights. And there were some mistakes in the back from Louisville that could have resulted in an early goal for Michael Chang.
Yeah, some bad passing there, and that opened up Michael Chang on that right-hand side, but just a fantastic finger save by Ranjitsingh there to palm that one up and over the bar and deny the Charleston Battery early. Fantastic save. That was our save of the match, and they were still coming forward where the Charleston Battery, that one from a long distance, but Ranjitsingh able to deal with that no problem by Cordovez, as that's just good positioning, and 9 times out of 10 you're never going to score from there. And on the flip side of it, Brian Ownby coming forward and trying to get McCabe into this one. That one I think may have been bending wide, but just in case, Tambakis palms that one wide. But certainly one of the better scoring opportunities from just outside the box from Niall McCabe in that first 45 minutes.
So this all in the first half of play. A couple good saves. When we move on to the second half, the sun was out, and we see a similar turnover on a similar side of the field. McCabe nearly made them pay all on his own.
Yeah, he did a great job of just taking that one upon himself to go forward, and what a toe save here as we take another look that he just runs right into the box. He's on a bit of a tough angle, but he gets it through, and Tambakis just with a toe save. And here on the other side again, George Davis gets up on this one on the second chance opportunity, puts the ball up, and Spencer just heads that one over the bar.
Spencer unable to find a goal off the bench. He'd have another opportunity here, but the ball would ricochet out. Illich, and eventually Guy Abend. It bounces through and in.
Yeah, he just has a little bit of time there, and you see him step up right at the top of the box and just side foot that one in, and it gets by a diving Alex Tambakis. Just a great job there to direct the ball. It takes a bounce and right over top of the arms of that diving Tambakis.
78th minute. Rate that.
Yeah, that is all it needed for Louisville City to be able to stay up top for the time being.
These are live. Tampa Bay falls to New York Red Bulls 2, who have moved into 7th. Cincinnati is level with them, but behind on goal differential. Louisville City is still in first place in the very competitive Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they certainly are. The Rochester Rhinos playing Toronto FC 2 tonight, so they'll have an opportunity to go above the Tampa Bay Rowdies as well and tie the Charleston Battery on 41 points.
Going to be a big game tonight. It was a bit chilly, a little bit rainy at first. Salute to the Heroes night. Louisville City on the road next at Pittsburgh, September 9th, game at 7. Charleston against Charlotte next. It's a major game in the East that Louisville will be paying close attention to. For producer Sharni Yerke, director Jim Clark, Dean Nevins, Lee Godfrey, the analyst Mike Watts saying so long. Guy Abend, the game winner, a shutout for Anjetsing. Louisville 1, Charleston 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.